Williams.
And I'm Billy Thomas.
And welcome to another edition of From the Woods Today. We have some hot and sweet topics.
I know. I've been so excited about this show, Renee.
I
know. Really, for many reasons. Well, first, it's really two really fascinating topics, right, that we're going to be talking about, and then two really great individuals that are doing a really cool work here in Kentucky. So really excited to have our guests that we'll have here in just a second, but we're glad to have you all with us today, right? We appreciate you all being with us. We know you could be doing some other stuff, but you chose to be with us right now. So thank you very much. And you're in for a real treat. We have two outstanding guests. I think both have been on. Have we had Jacob on before?
Yeah, they both have been
I
on.
thought Jacob, yeah. All right, so we got Mr. Jacob Stewart. Jacob is with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources here in the state, and he oversees and helps out all the private lands biologists in the state. But he's also, I think, the current president of the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council, and he's going to be talking about prescribed fire today. So Jacob could cover a lot of ground, but we're going to kind of focus him today on prescribed fire.
He's got many talents. I mean,
he does. He is awesome.
Several shows on different topics, and he's got a ton. And I was like, load me up.
And I've had a chance to work with Jacob quite a bit over the last couple of years, and it's been really rewarding. And the work that they do to try to help landowners is awesome. So really excited about having Jacob on. And we also have Mr. John Duvall. Really glad to have John. John is the president of the Kentucky Maple Syrup Association, and that organization is really kicking tail, Renee. They are coming on strong and doing great work. They have got these amazing programs set up all across the state. John and the association are working with many of our county extension offices all across the state of Kentucky to put on these training programs. So if you've ever wanted to get some more information, or you're curious about maple syrup, John has got the information for you. So we'll have that as well. So really excited to have them. And that's really kind of set up for, they've got the Maple School coming. So this is the big event later. So this is kind of a little a prelude to that. So it's a chance to get some information and get you set up so you can go to the Kentucky Maple School. But Renee, really glad to be with you, and appreciate you all being with us. If you got questions for our guests, please use chat function. And if you are a YouTube viewer or a podcast listener, thank you. And you can hit us up via email at forestry.extension@uky.edu, and we can respond that way. But we're glad to be with you all. I'm really excited about this show. These are the two. It's cool, man. It's really cool stuff that's happening in the state. And this is, the people, we get questions about both these topics quite a bit. So
we do. And the thing about it is, as many different locations as they're going to have, if you live in the state of Kentucky, you're going to have something that's close, and you can learn about maple syrup. So this is awesome. So, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get this started.
Let's get it going.
So, we appreciate you being on. We got your fire hat on this time, though.
Yeah, he wears lots of hats. But...
He does.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about prescribed fire and what it means to the state of Kentucky and how landowners can actually find a way to implement this in a safe manner. So I do appreciate the time, and we want to, we can jump on into it.
Let's do it.
Well, again, thank you all. And as Renee and Billy have already introduced me, I'll just real quick say again, I'm Jacob Stewart with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife professionally, and also the current president of the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council. So what I'm here today to talk to you about is prescribed fire. And if you'll see here, the mission of the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council is to promote the understanding and enhance the collaboration of the use of ecological-based prescribed fire in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So I'm going to kind of explain what that means. And there's all different levels of knowledge here, I'm sure, there are people listening. So I'm going to start with kind of just talking about the reason why fire is important to the Kentucky landscape, and then go into the idea of how you can learn to do this on your own property. So real quick, fire has been used in the state of Kentucky for over the past 3,000 years. In the map you're looking here, it was a map done based on early settlement when the settlers came over. As you can see, there's some stuff kind of different about it. If you look to the far west, it looks like California was an island with a big lake there. But for the most part, the eastern half of this map is, still symbolizes what we have today as far as features here. So kind of show you what this looks like, and this is kind of first evidence we have, or some of the first evidence we have, to show what the Native Americans were doing and how fire has played a role in our landscape. So if you zoom in here and you look at this, it says savanna land, good pasture land. This is where you kind of can see where Kentucky was. And again, it's a really rough estimate of where it is. So, and when you think about savanna land or pasture land, you don't think about continuous trees. I know we're on from the woods today, but back in the day, fire was being used across this landscape to maintain systems. Again, for the idea of Native Americans planting crops, the idea of hunting, just all different aspects of life of the Indians used fire to help support their lifestyle, which how they're using the land dictates wildlife and what kind of species are on the land. So again, this is just a first little thing that shows that fire was being used across our landscape. And on the same notion of that, we jump on over to another point of view here is the idea that you had what kind of species did we have? So this is a historical distribution of what kind of species were across the landscape of what we would call our climax communities in the states. If you look at Kentucky, Tennessee, right there, you'll see again, oak is our dominant species. Oak is not solely dependent on fire to be there, but it is definitely a tool used to choose oak over some other species. I know we're talking about maple syrup here in a little bit, and this may go against the maple aspect, but the idea of some of the species like maple, fire was being used across the landscape, and maple can't handle fire as well as oak, hickory, and some other climax communities we had. So again, this is just a good demonstration of fire was being used in driving the idea of fire tolerant species being in that climax community over time. So this map here, goes back all the way from 1600s, 1700s, even, back further than that. And then we're going to step to the 1925, the USDA census. I actually asked a question. If you look down, or here, question 91, acreage of woodland burnt over. So include the acreage of woodland burnt over to destroy old grass and weeds in order to improve the grazing. So that's a question back in the USDA census back in 1925. If you're not familiar with the USDA census, it goes out every 5 years to try to see and capture how the land's being used and what kind of agriculture is being used. This has been done since the 1800s. And it was just done, man, I can't remember actually last year, maybe 2000, I can't remember the exact year, 2020, somewhere in there. The census was just done and put out. So if you look at this map, and unfortunately, this was the only time frame that this question was asked and this information was captured. If you look at these maps, and it may be kind of hard to see on your computer screen, but the one on the bottom is the number of farms burnt, reported that they've burnt, and the one on the top is the number of acres. So back in 1925, so about 100 years, well, exactly 100 years ago, like Pike County was burning 14,000 acres a year on 271 farms. Then you got Lewis County, 10,000 acres a year on 189 farms. One that's really impressive is Bullitt County. It was burning about 9,000 acres, and that was only on 18 farms. So pretty big landscapes were being burnt to support the idea of grazing. And if you really think about it, and I haven't done it yet, but if you do go look at maps of white oak and how many board foot we have per acre in a county, it does lay over pretty well and show that the counties that had fire back 100 years ago have a high number or have a high percentage of white oak per acre. So again, it kind of leads to the fact of the importance of fire to our oak hickory systems and how we do it. So just again, more proof of the importance of fire on the landscape as we go. So this is a snapshot of the past year. Well, past year from July 24th to June 25th. So our fiscal year of what Kentucky is burning now and who's burning. So if you look at this, the universities reported 22 acres, state government about 8,000 acres, private consultants 100 acres, private landowners 36, and NGOs 188, and the U.S. Forest Service for the big part was 11,000 acres. And believe it or not, that's not very many burns. They burn bigger landscapes than what the rest of these do, which gives them the ability to burn more acres per year because they don't have to have as many burn days. So, but yeah, so we're averaging somewhere about 20,000 acres a year across the state. If you were to go compare this to other states in the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, most of them states are in the 100,000 acres. Florida's even millions of acres burnt a year. So it's not that fire can't be done in a responsible way. It's just we've lost that culture across Kentucky. Again, in 1925, I forgot to mention, we burnt 142,000 acres in 1925. So fast forward 100 years, we're burning 120,000 acres less per year than what we did 100 years ago. So again, another idea of the importance of trying to get this back as a culture in the state of Kentucky. So, why do we do control burns? So there's multiple reasons we do, and we've kind of hit on some of them as we go. So you go for anything from improving forest health, managing wildlife, so managing open fields like the middle picture we got here, to the idea of burning crop residue in some places it's due, even the idea of burning off pasture to rejuvenate that field, or even the idea of getting it set up so you can reseed the field. There's multiple ways. I've also seen fire used on landscapes where it's too steep to mow, so you may burn it off to knock back the trees to encourage the grasses for grazing, or just to keep the trees off the landscape. The idea of removing invasive species. I know that's a big topic that we've hit on, and I'm sure on From the Woods here, you all seen many of on invasive species. From the idea of knocking it back for treatment later, or for the idea of doing it on a rotation to just keep it at bay so you don't have to fight it with herbicide and all the other tools. But it is a tool used for that. We do got to keep in mind that fire is not a scalpel, it's a kind of a sledgehammer. When you go about the management process of this stuff. So just keep that in mind that it takes some really good planning, and we'll kind of talk about that here in a minute as we get into this. And also the idea of reducing wildfire risk. So the whole idea behind prescribed fire is you do this in a controlled setting. You're controlling all the aspects of it, how the fire moves, where it moves to. So the idea of you can choose how to burn this and burn it safely, or you let fuels build up, and you increase the idea that if a fire gets started, it'll be harder to control in an uncontrolled setting. So again, creating a wildfire that now you got to fight when you're not ready to, instead of putting the fire on the ground in a controlled manner to get rid of the fuel. So if anything ever happens, you don't have the big explosive wildfires that you could have. So those are just some general ways to use fire moving forward. And in Kentucky, this is just something to kind of drive home. The number one cause of a wildland fires is arson. So that's something that we're not going to be able to fix. We do our best to make sure we report it when we see it, make sure we get that information out. But arson itself is a hard thing, to control. But the idea behind having prescribed fires in place reduces the disaster aspect of it. If you've already burnt an area, arsonists, the fires aren't as explosive at that point. The key one I want to sit here, though, is one thing that we can work on is the second leading cause of wildland fires. And I underlined and highlighted the uncontrolled debris burning. So the idea that you go out to a brush pile, you go to burn it, a lot of times people, just say, oh, look, it's a nice sunny day. I can burn this brush pile. They go and burn it. They don't necessarily pay attention to some of the weather conditions that may be impacting what it happens, or they don't even consider what happens if the fire gets out. So the idea that the second leading cause, we can do something about this as far as educating landowners on the next side of things of what a prescribed fire, also known as, again, look at the next term, controlled burning. So not uncontrolled burning, but we're doing this in a controlled manner. And so prescribed fire or controlled burning is the application of fire in an appropriate nature, setting a safe, responsible, and purposeful way. So when you think about this chart here below us kind of gives you some data. Well, not kind of, it does give you data on the number of burns, the number of escapes, and what percent of escape rate we have. The U.S. Forest Service, I do believe that's nationwide. The Fed and private pooled is combining some stuff out west. The PBAs is prescribed burn associations. So these are private landowners out in the Plains State. So Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, over that way. So if you look here and you look at the number of burns, the number of escapes for these private landowners, it's 1,200 burns with 0 escapes. So for Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, and this is actually wrong, this should be 2010 to 2024, we've had about 1,100 burns, and I have had 2 escapes. So over that time, the odds of this happening, the percentages, aren't that great. The idea of that planning aspect calls here is really important, and this is what makes this so it doesn't explode like the uncontrolled debris burning. Is the idea of the planning and understanding of what fire does. Again, this chart does not show that it's not something to worry about, but it does show that it can be done in a safe and responsible way. And so that's what the next side I'm going to jump into is kind of explain to you what avenues you have as landowners or even professionals on learning how to use prescribed fire across the state of Kentucky. So the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council has 2 standing trainings. One is a crew member / landowner training. This is the basic introduction of prescribed fire, and you actually get a certificate for this, so you can be on the line with a certified burn boss, which I'll talk about that in more detail here in just a minute on the ins and outs on how that works and what that means. But really, this is the good overall class of laying out the basics of the controlled part of a controlled burn. So it lays out everything you're taking into consideration. So from the types of fuels you're burning, so either grass, woodland aspect, to the weather, how that impacts fire and the fire behavior. You take, and the topography and how all those 3 things interact and what you can expect from the fire based on different aspects of each one of those things and how they are the driving force of fire. And so once you understand that aspect, you then write a plan. So you have everything lined out on the day of the burn on how you're going to burn. So this class it's a long 8-hour class. We do our best to keep you engaged throughout the class, but there's a lot of information that we go over and, just set down a good basis of what prescribed fire is and how you can do it on your property. So after that class, we have another training. It's called Learn and Burn. So we actually have 3, I misspoke earlier, of types of training. So a Learn and Burn, once you get the crew member class done, this gives you the ability to come on a Learn and Burn. What a Learn and Burn is a hands-on experience. So now we've talked to you in the classroom, talked to you about all these things that impact fire and its behavior. We take that information in the class and talk to you about a plan development. So this is the next step in this class in the Learn and Burns. We actually take the plan development, the plan that's been developed for the site. We go over it with you step by step and explain to you what to expect that day. Go over the weather, go over the fire breaks and what they look like and how they're going to hold, and give you the Learn and Burn participant the ability to use a rake, as you see in these pictures, and the torch to light the fire, to put the fire out with supportive professionals around you. And the whole goal of this is to take you to that next step of trying to feel comfortable. This is, again, fire is something that you should definitely respect. But once you learn the idea of what to expect when you light the fire and how it is controlled, it doesn't become it's not such a scary thing to do. So learn to burn, again, you have to have the crew member training or landowner training before you can come to learn and burn and participate in those. And we usually have, somewhere between 5 and 10 of these in the spring and 5 and 10 of these in the fall, if weather permits. Again, the weather is a big a thing is with fire. Sometimes it's too wet, sometimes it's too dry. But we try to play it best to get fire on the ground and let you see what happens throughout the fire. All right, so this is just, again, this is kind of what we have done in 2025. And as Renee was talking about, we do try to get this all across the state and give opportunities to everybody. And again, each spring we try to have 3 of the landowner classes, which here is called an 8-hour course in the spring and 3 in the fall. Sometimes we add some when we have interest. And really, if we have 10 plus people show interest, we'll try to get to a class as close as we can to you. So just really reach out and work with us. And if we know we have the interest, we can definitely get you signed up and get down that road. And then here in the Learn and Burns, again, if you look at this, we've had them all across the state. And hopefully there's 4 of them here that we just put out the dates for. And hopefully get those, and majority of them are almost filled up because we do cap it at about 10 to 14 people, depending on what kind of trained staff we can have on site. So the next training we have, and this is where I was talking about being a crew member and working underneath a certified burn boss. So to be a certified burn boss in the state of Kentucky, which what that gives you is the ability. If you look up here, the fire hazard to burn within the fire hazard season. So today is the start of the fall fire hazard season, which goes from October 1 to December 15th. And the spring fire hazard season is February 15th through April 30th. And so basically what that is, and again, you can read here, is you can't start a fire 150 foot from a woodland from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So what becoming a certified burn boss does is gives you the ability to burn within these windows. And you may say, well, wait a minute, why would we want to give somebody the ability to burn within these windows? Well, if you think about what these windows are here for, is the idea of wind, fire, the chances of fire being detrimental and can move quickly across the landscape. These are those windows. So that's why they put them in. And so it's also the idea of being most effective with fire for contractors on that side of thing and being able to do this on a bigger scale. It gives you that ability to burn within those windows. But to do that, it's about 160 hours worth of training. So you have to be a firefighter type 2, which is an NWGC certification on a national level. Then you got to be on 5 prescribed burns. And then you got to take a 3-day certified burn boss training, which is right here. And then you got to do 3 apprentice burn bosses before you get the ability to burn in this window. And this is the same standards that Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, Kentucky Division of Forestry, all state agencies are held to these standards to be able to burn. And it's really important is the idea of what this certified burn boss is the next step of learning how to write a plan. And again, the plan itself is your insurance policy. And the reason why it's so important is, again, the plan sets up of how the fire is going to be controlled. The difference between those wildland fires that started from uncontrolled brush fires versus a prescribed fire and the reduction of the escapes that happen is that prescribed fire, you have thought about every aspect of how this fire is going to be controlled. If it escapes, what kind of resources you have on hand to take care of it. You've thought through that whole process. So this planning process is truly the idea of your safety net. And it has been shown time and time again that if you have a good plan, good sound plan, you follow that plan, you will be successful with prescribed fires. So again, that's what the certified burn boss is getting you there. And it's not an easy feat getting to the point of becoming a prescribed burn boss in the state of Kentucky. But we do feel once you've met that and you've got to that, we're comfortable with that point of you getting in and burning inside these windows, the fire hazard windows. So this is just like a rundown of 2024. We had the Burn Boss class at Raven Run, and we had 14 students. And then you can see here the 2025 class. We had this just about a month, well, 3 weeks ago, and we had, I think this may have been our biggest class of 26 people went through it. And on the right here, you'll kind of see the prereqs that you have to become a burn boss in the state of Kentucky before you're able to take this class. Again, the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council is a 501c3. The idea is this is not run by any state agency. I am the burn boss and Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, but the burn boss, the president of the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council. So, what I do with the council is separate from what I do within my agency, even though what we do is very well meshed together. And the importance of the council, in our agency is high up there. And the reason that is they talked about the idea of me being over private lands. The goal for the Prescribed Fire Council is to get private landowners comfortable to do this, because that number, as you saw back in 1925, was not done by state agencies. That number was done by landowners, like many of yourselves that was here, and to ever get back to a point where we're putting the fire on the landscape meaningfully, it is going to take partnerships, as you see here, and really the private landowner. The private landowner owns 90%, 96% of this state, and that's what the council is here to do. And the state agencies that support the councils and all these partners are here to do is to support you and to get you to feel comfortable with prescribed fire. If you look here, if you scan this QR code that's up on the screen right now, that'll take you to a Google document or Google survey that you fill out that puts you on a list for trainings. And anytime we do the trainings, we email that list to say, here, we're having trainings. Here's where you sign up. Here's where you go. So this is the place where you go. And just real quick, this is just some videos. This is actually my son using a flapper to help put the fire out. And he was having a blast. He actually, got out of school to come learn something that day, hands-on. And also him lighting some line. And again, this is on my own personal property, now within our agency. But again, this is not something that we have to. I welcome the idea of opening our kids' worlds and everybody's world to this. If done right and responsibly, is a wonderful tool to use on your land. And Renee, I think that's about all I got. As far as that goes, I can leave this up, or if you.
Yeah, leave it up.
Leave that up, definitely. Thank you for, telling us all about this. And, how do you figure out where you actually burn? So is it someone who is part of the trainings that it's their property, or do you actually have a place that you go to train and show these people how to do this?
So are you talking about where we do the learning burns themselves?
Well, so yeah, I guess
general?
in general.
All right, so I'll kind of hit both of those things. The learning burns, how we choose to do those. We've put over 600 landowners through the crew member class. So I promise you, those 600 people, every one of them wants us to burn their property, and we can't get there. We can't get there as a council, as an agency. So here we're actually getting ready to put in play is the idea of, if you went through this, an application process of choosing a learn and burn sites to be able to do this. That's something we're just now starting to work on, hopefully roll it out later this year and try to pick sites in the spring and the fall. And also the idea, I talked about the prescribed burn associations earlier. This is something we're really trying to get into, is out of those 600 people, we've done a survey here recently. We're asking them, hey, who's willing to help other landowners? Who's willing to jump in there and help? And I've had over 120 landowners say I'm willing to go help throughout the state. So right now we're really trying to work on that and get the idea of back to the idea of local communities, local people helping each other out to get some work done on their property, because prescribed fire is not a single man job. Multiple people need to do it, and it's also a job that doesn't have to be done constantly. Your property may need one or two burns done a year, so each person can go help each other out to meet their needs. And again, they're very seldom do people say, "Man, I hate this. This is terrible." If planned right, you're not fighting fire; you're watching fire. And that's the key to this is try to get people together, get this culture back. As far as just learning how to do it and where to do it on your property, we have the private lands biologist within Kentucky Fish and Wildlife will come out to your property and work with you, tell you if fire is worth working on there or not. The idea of where to do it, how you do it, they'll help you write that plan. The key to this is every property is not made for fire. You're not going to be able to do it everywhere. You may have really tight constraints you have to do it, but there is somebody here to help you. And what I really suggest before you call the biologist, say, "Here, help me write this." Come to the crew member course, learn that aspect, and then actually turn around and take that information, try to develop your own plan, and then the biologist can help you clean that up. Because the whole idea behind this is, I don't know about you all, Renee and Billy, but if someone drives me somewhere and I'm in the passenger seat and you didn't tell me to drive back the way I've never been, I won't get there most of the time.
You're like,
Yep.
So this is the same. This is the same
Yep.
idea. Is as you go through this class and as you do this, you know your property. You're the one that's going to be running the burn. You need to understand how this is going to be controlled and what you're going to do. So this is a joint effort of writing a burn plan and knowing the day to day and how to do it. So there's a couple things. Again, hopefully that answers your question, Renee.
I think that was good, and as actually addressed a question we had in the chat too about when to
Exactly.
burn and frequency and that. Again, I think the important point there is it's a management tool, and as any tool, there's times for it and times not for it, right? So working with the professionals is your best bet to kind of ensure that you're doing it appropriately. So Jacob, this is really adding to the capacity of our whole community here and to be good stewards of our resources, right? So the work that you and the Kentucky Prescribed Fire Council do is really important and really helpful and innovative. And big thanks and shout out to you all for all the great work you all have done with this. I know a number of landowners been through those landowner trainings, and they speak so highly of it. So appreciate all the work that y'all are doing with this. And I would encourage our viewers to spread this information. There's others out there who want to get involved in this. They just don't know how. I think and Jacob has really laid out a nice path for us. So outstanding, buddy. It seems like everything you do is pretty awesome work. So thank you, buddy.
Thank y'all for giving me the ability to come talk about it. And again, reach out to me. Anybody's on here. If you have more questions, I'll take the time to answer.
Oh yeah, we'll have you back for sure. You got a lot of good stuff to share.
Thanks, Jacob. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good stuff, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a solid one.
Always, yes.
And now we're going to get to talk about some maple syrup stuff. And and it was funny. I've told John this story before, but when I first started getting engaged in maple syrup here in Kentucky, it was really kind of counter to some of the training and thinking that a lot of us had in forestry, right? Because, we're an oak hickory forest type here in Kentucky. So we're always thinking, all right, well, we need to manage for oak hickories, right? But, there's a lot of maple out there in Kentucky, and we know that, right? And we know that sometimes that maple occurs on sites that aren't really, going to be oak sites or whatever. So, so no worries there. Plenty of maple. And I think John's going to talk to us a little bit about what we can do with some of that maple that's out there in Kentucky. And many of our landowners have it on their property, and they're like, what can I do with it? So
exactly. So John, if you want to turn your camera on, we appreciate you joining us and telling us all this about this awesome, sweet topic that you're going to be talking about.
It's so cool. Yeah. Really amazing work. Been watching it. Go ahead, John.
Mm-hmm. Good morning. Thank you all for having me on this morning. It's a pleasure always to come on from the woods and talk to you all and share about our sweet topic about maple syrup in Kentucky. I was on a podcast a couple weeks ago for the UK's Center for Crop Diversity, and I told them, I'm a horticulturalist by day, and a maple syrup president by night. I'm like, well, you're like a superhero. So
You are.
I don't know about that. I don't have a cape yet. So,
but John, let me brag on you real quick, buddy. I know that you stepped up to lead this organization, at a really critical time, and it is really seems to be flourishing and growing and really doing some great work. So, I mean, from my perspective, you all are doing a great job, and I would encourage anybody in the state that has any interest in maple syrup to join the Kentucky Maple Syrup Association. It's a great opportunity to kind of learn from like-minded folks, and that peer-to-peer learning can be invaluable. So, John, just really wanted to shout out and celebrate all of you all, and I know many of you all in that leadership role there at Kentucky Maple Syrup Association. So, big thanks for the great work you all are doing, and for being here.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
Definitely.
All right. Well, let me see if I can get my screen shared here.
All right.
So maple syrup in Kentucky. A lot of us didn't know that this was an opportunity to just a few years ago. Myself, I think it was about 2018, 2019. I first learned about it, thinking it was only something that was done in the Northeast, but they've actually been doing maple syrup in Kentucky for a long time. I mean, it even goes back to some of the settlers, hundreds of years ago. They were making maple syrup, but that art almost got lost, here in Kentucky. But there is a few people who kind of passed the methods down through their family over the years. So it's still been around, but we're trying to bring it back. So I kind of treat maple syrup as a commodity. We've got a lot of great commodities in Kentucky. Beef, of course, is number one. But we have swine and dairy and honey and horticulture products. So why can't maple syrup also be one of those commodities that's talked about in Kentucky? So that's kind of what our association is about, is help spreading the word, reaching as many people as we can to tell them about maple syrup, how to make it. And it's not just for the people who want to make, gallons and gallons, commercial style producers. We're here for people who have 4 or 5 trees in their backyard and just want to make maple syrup for their family. We have both sides of the spectrum are members of our association. Like Billy mentioned, we've really kind of taken off the last few years. A few years ago, I think we maybe had like 16 members, and we're getting close to about 50 members now. But I keep learning about more and more people across the state who are making maple syrup who aren't quite members yet. So, we highly recommend it. Join our association. We're not a very expensive association. Only $25 is our dues right now. So, but we like to get together and share our ideas of how we make maple syrup, our techniques. That's kind of one great thing about our association and our product is, we're not afraid to tell other people about how we do it. Some people may keep secrets on their making process of different commodities, but we're not afraid to share how to do it, how we do it, and why we do it. So what we have coming up here pretty soon is a couple of important events coming on. So let me see here. This is going to switch. Oh, sorry. Okay. So 2 years ago, we started doing the Maple Syrup School back in person. And we decided the night before the Maple School, we'd have a beginner's night, try to get some people who are interested in maple syrup but may not know how to get started to come and learn the whole process. So I could sit here today and tell you about the whole process, but that kind of would defeat the aspect of why I'm here, is to get you all to come to us and learn about it. So we were doing this one night before our Maple School classes, and we decided, how can we reach more people? So a lot of people across the state have already been kind of doing, extension agents. Some producers have been doing classes at the extension office or on their farms, but different times of the year. So we decided to bring everybody together and just do it, all synchronized through the month of October. And we're going to call it Beginners Maple Syrup 101. So originally we had the idea to do it in 12 counties across the state. We have a map where Kentucky is divided into like 12 districts. But luckily we've had some more people reach out. So we actually have 14 different extension offices who are going to host beginning maple syrup night starting tonight in Kent County, actually, at 6 o'clock. Lori Clark up there, she's been doing some maple syrup classes for her community. So she's going to get started off tonight up there, covering that district. And then tomorrow in Bullitt County, Nathan Ryder, an extension agent over in that part of Kentucky, he's going to have a class. That one was just recently added. And then you can go on down there and see the different locations across Kentucky. So like, again, I said, a lot of us have been doing it different times of the year, but we're really pushing for the month of October to reach as many people who may be interested. And some people may have already been making maple syrup and want to come and just kind of get a refresher class, be there and ask some questions. Every location is going to have somebody who's made maple syrup. So everybody should have somebody with some expertise of knowing the whole process of maple syrup. The process of maple syrup, we kind of simplify it into 5 steps. I mentioned this in the podcast I did the other day. And the 5 steps are tap it, collect it, boil it, filter it, and then bottle it. So those 5 steps, seem pretty easy, but there's some different techniques with each step. So that's what we're going to kind of go over in these beginning classes, how you can get started, doing that. So I'm going to, on our next slide, we have our website. I'm going to go to this link here real quick. This is our website, kymaplesyrup.com, and I hope it comes up. Renee, can you see our website?
No, not yet.
Okay, well,
You may have to share that website. Stop sharing with what you're doing and then share that website.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me do that real quick. Okay, can you see it now?
It's loading. Hold on, there it goes. Yep, we're good.
Oh, okay. So if you go to our website, you can scroll down to the bottom and you'll see this little flyer. And if you click on the link here, hopefully it'll take you to this. You'll see a map of all the locations. And then over on the side, you can see the date and the time and the address of where to go. So I want to bring that up so that way you can, you see the list of where we're having our classes. But on our website, you can actually go to and click on your area, and it'll give you the address and the times of where they are. And I believe, no, it doesn't. But you could call ahead and sign up, or you can just show up in person. Either way. So we would prefer if you would call ahead, but if you forget to call at the last minute, don't worry. You can still show up the night of to participate. Okay. Are you back to my?
Yes, we got you. And John,
Okay.
just so you know, I dropped in the link for all the county extension offices into the chat so people can find the phone numbers and stuff for each of the offices there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Billy. So a part of our beginning maple syrup night is also to help promote. Sorry, I'm trying to get to there we go. Is our maple school. Our maple school is a big event for us that we've been having, I think, since about 2018, 2019. We had to take a break, of course, during COVID. And then 2 or 3 years ago, we came back to in person, and we've had some great speakers at our maple school and some great turnout. I think the last 2 years we've had around 60 to 75 people show up for our maple school all across the state. We've even have some people from Indiana and Kentucky have come to our maple school. Our presenters have been wonderful. We've had the Maple Dude. He's kind of the social media guru of the maple syrup industry. He's based out of Wisconsin. We've had presenters from Maine and Vermont. The Proctor Maple Research School in Vermont have come down. So it's a great time to get together and learn about the process more on, I wouldn't say the advanced, but people who have experience with making maple syrup. We don't want to deter people who have not made maple syrup to come, because they can still come and learn things. But it's kind of geared more for people who are already making maple syrup, how they can improve their technique And again, networking is a big thing for us. We like to get together and talk maple syrup amongst each other. And this is the only time we all get together as one in the state. So we highly recommend coming and being a part of that. So this year it's going to be November 1st at the Clark County Extension Office. We always shoot for that first Saturday in November, right there in Winchester, Kentucky. And our here's kind of our agenda set up so far for this year. If you're listening and you are already a maple syrup producer and you plan on ordering some products, we have a representative from CDL. Get in contact with him and he will bring whatever you want to order to the Maple School. So make sure you reach out to him. So it'll kind of save you some money on shipping. But then our first keynote speaker is Dr. Joy Aloy, and let me go on to our next. So we've been working with not only UK Forestry, but Future Generations University over in West Virginia. And Dr. Joy Aloy has been leading a team over there doing some maple syrup research for a few years now. And he's been a great help. He helped us set up a tour over in West Virginia and Virginia for some of our producers to go and see in person how they've been doing it for a lot longer than we have recently in Kentucky. So he's been a great asset for us. So he's going to come this year, and he's going to talk about, so you made syrup, now what? We all can make syrup, but then what's that step after you've made syrup? What should we do with this end product? So he's got a great presentation for us on that. So we're looking forward to hearing from him about this topic. And then we get a lot of questions on what opportunities are out there for producers. So our 10:30 slot, we've got some people from Like and Knowledge, Steve Kruger. Like and Knowledge is actually kind of our golden sponsor for the Maple School this year. They reached out to us and wanted to partner with us, so they have chosen to be our golden sponsor and helping getting Dr. Aloy down here to Kentucky for us. But they're going to come and talk about what opportunities that they have for the woodland owners. They're based out of Kentucky and West Virginia. They have an office in Winchester. And so we're looking forward to hearing from them about that. I know that they really push a walnut syrup. They've got some monies available for walnut syrup. So there's not just maple out there. You can make other syrups besides maple, walnut, sycamore. So they have some opportunities available. I'm going to share about that. Kentucky State University, Kevin's going to come down and talk about the small farm grant and some money that's available for producers in the state through Kentucky State University. And then John Schultz from the NRCS is also going to come and tell us about the I believe it's the CAPE grant that's available. No, it's the energy. I'm sorry, it's the energy audit that's available. And they also have a state forester through NRCS who can come and talk and look at your sugar bush and give you suggestions on how to improve your sugar bush. So some really good opportunities to learn about from these guys for a producer. And then after our lunch, we got a lunch planned for everybody that attends. But then after lunch, we're going to have a panel discussion. We've got a mix of producers already who's going to be a part of a panel, and then we can ask them the questions, ask them the techniques and things that they do to help come up with a good quality product. So a lot of exciting things happening with our association and maple syrup across the state. I believe registration is now open on our website. So here's the link right there. If you're interested in coming to the Maple School, you can go to this link and register now. It's $25 to attend the Maple School. If you're a member and you're watching, you should have already gotten an email that I sent out recently with a discount for all our members of the association. So that's all I have for today. So we hope that you are excited about maple syrup and come to one of our events coming up. Let me stop.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Go, people.
Yeah. The one good thing I like about your association is that, it's a group of folks who really care about helping each other out. Like, if you have no idea where to start, there's going to be somebody that'll be like, okay, come along with me and I'll show you how. It's not going to be like, oh, well, here's a pamphlet, go read that. It's like hands on the ground showing you how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, a few years ago, I knew nothing about maple syrup, and I made lots of phone calls, and people were so willing. Shad Baker, our extension agent down there in Letcher County, I can't tell you how many times I called him and Jeremy Williams and Seth Long. Just, how do I do this? What do I do next?
Yeah.
And wonderful, wonderful people in our association and across the state, that make maple syrup. We love to tell stories. We're kind of like those old fellers who sit on the porch and just sit around and chew tobacco and tell stories.
Oh, it's good. I've seen it take place firsthand, and yeah, it's great. Really get involved, folks. I know a lot of people are curious, and you don't have to have 1,000 maple trees to play in this world. So yeah, there's a chance for almost everybody to participate that wants to. So, and we know many, if not all, of our forest landowners have probably some maple on their property, and some more than others, right? So taking advantage of those resources is good. So yeah, good work, John. Really appreciate all the work. I know a lot of people are engaged with this in the association. Also really appreciate our county extension offices stepping up and working with you all and helping out. What a great local resource all across the state. So yeah, just kudos to everybody for really nicely done work and trying to help so many people.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And, we'll have you on again to talk about the Maple School a little later.
Yes, yeah. And folks, go to one of those events across the state and you'll get some great information. You'll meet some wonderful people. It's well worth your time.
With 14 different events, there's got to be one near you somewhere.
Yes, go see one or more. Yes, please. Exactly. Oh, Renee, two great topics. Really, again, these are topics we get a lot of questions and inquiries about here at UK Forestry and Natural Resources Extension. So it's really wonderful to have these two gentlemen talking about these important issues. So yay.
Definitely. And we have a lot of topics on our website. So if you go to fromthewoodstoday.com, you can find out you can see all of these, binge watch us for days. We say all of these programs are recorded and they're posted there, no later than a week typically. So if you can watch everything that we've ever done. If you're coming and go, oh, what were those locations that Jacob or John talked about? By Monday, you should be able to see all of it. So there you go. You can rewatch us as long as you want to. And again, that website is fromthewoodstoday.com.
Yeah. Appreciate you all very much. Let us know what we can do to help you. Yep.
Any topics you have, let us know.
Yeah.
Because like if someone is seeing something crazy in their woods, or maybe it's something that, it's like, hey, how do I actually do this? I have, 4 maple trees. Will that work? Well,
let's find
let
out.
us know. So we will greatly appreciate you joining us, and we will see you all next week. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
From the woods today. From the woods today.